Hi, this is Arato from Clockwork Butterfly, and this is another video that I said I would do before about my works in progress, aka the dolls I've been working on. They're still, as I said, works in progress, so there are a lot of changes to be made, and in this video I think I will cover a little bit of that, things that are to come. I just wanted to show you guys what I've been doing all this time, because in terms of my personal project I sort of went radio silent for a long time. So I have had people asking me if I was still making dolls, and yes, I have been all this time. Now one of the main things you will see here is that they're pretty damaged. Two of them actually, the newer ones, Yoji and Vian. And they're damaged because my little doggy, who is not little, he's sitting right here and feeling very, very bad about himself. A while ago, a few weeks ago actually, he knocked over my entire work table, and all the doll parts went flying around. So they only actually fell apart once I strung them and started posing them. So that's why these problem areas are still there and have been taken care of, and now he's trying to say sorry. Like, this dog, guys. This dog. So that's a thing you gotta live with when you're making dolls. Not only when you have pets, because things will happen, and things will happen to your dolls too. And you know, sometimes it's really scary and really sad, and you feel like giving up because some important part just broke. But don't. It's normal. It will happen to you, and just keep working, and maybe leave this part until you're no longer upset and then fix it. And that's it. That's just a little bit of sculpting advice from me. Okay, so Yoji, as I said in the previous video, he is as heavy as Endo is, despite being way smaller. So he's almost 2 kilograms, he's 1.8 right now. His head cup needs a lot of work. It's probably almost half the size it should be right now, because my other doggy got her little teeth on it. I don't know what's yummy about air dry clay, but apparently it is. I don't know. His eyes need to be fixed a little bit, and well, basically all of his face still needs a lot of work. And I mentioned it before also that the upper balls in the neck don't move yet. And as you can see, the ball just sits right in there. And here should be a little bit of a channel digged out so that the head can move forward. So right now he's just permanently looking up, which, you know, whatever you like. This giant is moving right now, but his neck is a little long because the ball isn't sitting as deep as it should. I'm gonna be fixing that. So yeah, the additional mobility joints in the arms are kind of hideous on the two new dolls. They haven't been finished yet. With Yoji, they do sit like they should. I think I need to help my camera focus on this. Okay. But there's a little bit of a thicker part here around them, and the flow isn't so good. So that will be fixed. Now, the reason I do these joints is because I want the movement of my dolls to be as realistic as possible. And as you will notice, if you, let me sit him down for a moment, say grab your arm right here and try turning your wrist. It doesn't turn because your wrist doesn't move. When you rotate your wrist, the movement happens here. And that's why I chose to do it this way. It's not the most popular choice. I think Dollzone did something like that at some point. But I mean, I can see why people prefer to have a wrist ball, because you're not dividing that part, and there will also always be some sort of a seam line there where the parts meet. But I mean, I chose my philosophy when making dolls to be to make movement realistic. So not only do I try to have as much movement as a human being does, but also I try not to have movement where there shouldn't be movement. So think what you will about that. Those are my reasons, and you know, if you're making your dolls another way, I really don't think you should change and see things my way. It's personal preference, nothing more. So this here is obviously a double joint. It will sit a little bit better, as you can see, but the part is a little thin here. It gets thinner, and then there's the elbow, so this will be much smoother. The elbow is still very basic shape. I will be changing that a bit. And I talked before about making resin casts of parts just for yourself, for your own use, and that's what I did here. The elbows are not only the same on both sides, they're not mirror images, they're literally the same part, but also they're the same throughout all of my dolls, because as I mentioned before at some point, pretty much all of my parts are interchangeable. The only thing is you will not be able most of the time to mix different torso pieces, because it just can't be done to have a uniform joint there and not have it look horrible on most dolls. And another thing is there are two different sizes of hip balls. For smaller dolls are these ones, and Endo and Vian both have the big joints. So yeah, there's a little bit more of designing. Now, the way this moves is he's very loose, as you can see. He's just flopping all around. The way this works is you bend it first like this, and it keeps any position. Right now there's gravity pulling it down because it's badly strung, but I have tested it well strung and it does sit, and you will see once they're finished. And once you're done with this, you bend it the second time, and whoop, it goes this far right now. It could go farther, but I'm not sure. I may change it. This here is just a ball joint, which again flops around because this doll is just all over the place. This here, the dog did. He did it. And I'm really angry about that, but it happens. It happens. I kind of like already how his joints are moving. They're pretty smooth all around. And the butt joint is even smoother. So yeah, I will be fixing these a little bit, but not so much. Then over here we have thighs and mobility joints. Oh, there's a part missing! Look! I didn't notice that. These are pretty standard. His will be sanded down quite a bit, as you can see. he keeps his legs a little bit apart because they're too thick here. And that's why I strung them primarily. I am showing them now, but the reason I strung them this time was to just see how different things work right now, and just, you know, I knew I had to sand it, but I didn't know just how much. And the same applies to many parts here. So that's the thing. I didn't string them much. There was one test string before this, and this one now, and this is the last test string. After this, they will be strung when they're complete. So yeah. These will be thinner and these will be prettier. There's a ledge here. Like, this part goes out and there's pointy bit here. And of course that will be taken care of. This will be smooth right here and just sit nicely here. And of course they can rotate. I don't currently put stops in these joints. I did have Endo strung strongly at some point, and I noticed that the joints were working alright. But once I get the resin casts, I may change that and put stops there. Right now the motion is smooth, but if they turn out to be you know, rotating too much, I will be putting stops there. And then the sort of extra feature of this joint, which pretty much all those joints have, is that you can pull it out when you require to bend the legs further, and that's what it looks like. It's pretty close. So yeah, this is the only place in the entire doll where, in order to do something, you need to pull things apart. Everything else, double joints, there's no pulling there. You just grab it and you bend it, and it bends on its own. The thing I advise, so that the posing is the best, is that when you're going for middle angle, you don't, you know, bend each side of the joint a little bit, because that creates sort of curve here, but you bend one first, then the second. That just kind of looks better. But that's just personal preference again. Do what you will. If you get one of those dolls, then do whatever you like. Then we have knees. His knees are looking pretty good already, but there will be changes. And again, there's the same double joint, it's just bigger. It looks like this. And again, it goes once up to 90 degrees, and then you just keep pulling, and it does its thing. Right now we go this far. For a second there, I thought this wasn't recording the whole time, and I get so scared. Okay, continuing. I may do something about the knees. I may not. We'll see. Feet. Feet have magnet and lock mechanism combined, so that they don't go flying all over the place. There will be 3 pairs of feet for each doll, and the feet will be a simple flat pair, then heeled feet, which, you know, let's destroy the preconceived notion that boys don't wear heels. But also, I mean, you may want to have your doll walking on their toes, or in a sort of relaxed position where one of their feet is just touching the ground a little bit. And that's cool, whether you want to put your boy in heels or whether you want to just have them sneak up on someone. That's great, and I want to give you that opportunity. And third pair will be a fully extended feet, so pointing down and toes spread out, which, I don't know, I think it can be useful because there won't be any flat surfaces on that foot. So, you know, you can take photos from below and not have it flat. just whatever you do with feet. That's great. Okay, so I think now we're gonna move on to the other dolls. There will be less to say about those, just because I already covered so much with Yoji, who has been a great little helper. Okay. He's so floppy. He's so floppy. But the master of floppiness is currently Endo, because see this? Oh my god! I'm not even worried because at first I was so scared I was gonna mess my dolls up, all this hard work and stuff, but the less you care, the less you drop them. You're just, you know, less stressed, therefore less likely to just, you know, have things fall out of your hands. And besides, after a few hundred probably times, when you're picking the parts you've been working on up from the ground, or you just screw them up while working on them, you just sort of let go and you're like, whatever. I mean, this isn't finished. This isn't ready for casting by any stretch of imagination. So I am gonna have to work on it anyway. And whether I have to work on it a little bit more, just no difference to me. Okay, so the face is undergoing some serious changes. I am making the nose more nose-like. It was just sort of chunky. And I am making his lips bigger. And while I was making them bigger, I realized how high they are. Like, oh my god, they're like up his nose. And after some time of wondering whether he's been getting food stuck in his nose all this time, I decided to move them down, which will happen today probably. And if you're following me anywhere else, I'm still posting photos of the original resin cast of Endo, so you won't be seeing those changes on those photos. So yeah, also he's shiny because I didn't shake my primer well enough before spraying, so he's all kinds of shiny. Which, you know, I'm also making his face narrower and making his head a little bit smaller. I'm just working on proportions in general. I mean, you know what I mean. I was quite happy with the likeness I got to the character I was modeling him after, because he did look very much like Endo, and Endo has a weird face, so that's him for you. But I didn't like the head shape. Overall head shape was nope. And I'd been meaning to do something about that, so now I'm finally doing it. And that's it about his head. Now, and off it goes. It's probably not gonna want to stay on because I did bad things to it. Because when I was chopping it up, I also destroyed some of the joint surface. You know what? I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna show you the doll without it. So yeah, this moves more than the other boys. I mean, there is the empty space here, which is it looks like this. So you know the head can go in there. But I changed the balls themselves, so there are some adjustments to make. But yeah. I mean, he's going forward, he's going back, he's going sideways, and he's going back is just like not happening right now. He should be able to actually bend his neck. Oh my god, wrong direction. Backward, and I'll fix it. And yeah, he is not damaged because first of all, he did not fall that fateful time, and second of all, he is made of polymer clay, which is from a certain point of view a great material, and from a different point of view it's horrible, because on one hand, the fact that it's a little bit flexible makes it really durable. You can just throw it at walls or whatever, and things will most likely not break. But at the same time, the problem is it's almost impossible to get a good fit for your parts, because you know, you make those joints and you think they're sitting great, and then you string the doll and the sides of the sockets get pushed outwards by the force, and it doesn't really have to be that big of a force. Like I fixed them already with epoxy, but before that I could just squish his knee sockets, so be aware of that. And anyway, aesthetically he will be undergoing some changes here. I'm going to be doing something about that chest. I keep mixing directions because my camera, for whatever reason, didn't flip the picture when I changed the position of the screen. So I'm seeing myself flipped. And he has the same joint system. He used to have much bigger elbows, and I thought that was as small as I could go, but after designing Vian, who is my biggest doll, I realized I could still go a little bit smaller and have it not look weird. So he got new elbows, which are compatible with all the other dolls, and it was also much more rounded. It was very square around here, and it's not finished. It's bumpy and just all kinds of ugly, but it's working and it's there, and it's gonna be finished very soon. Another thing is his rotation joints have been finished already, so you can see they go smoothly. There's you know, there's the line, the division line here, but other than that it goes smoothly. And when oh my god, can't grab it. When I use the joint and actually rotate it, it stays, it's a little wobbly because he's so loose, but it still has the same line here. Nothing sticking out or anything. So yeah. He handles really nicely. This way, I think. He's just, you know, pretty portable, pretty easy to move. And I'm hoping to get the other two dolls to this level, where I can just, you know, prop them up whichever way easily. I just put them in the position that I want them to be in, instead of working on making things work and just fiddling with the joints. And Endo is very much like this. He just takes whatever position you would like from him. Now, he's a little thick around here. Like you see, there's a big step here, and that will be sanded down. And as well as, if you look from the front, there's a bit of a lip here, so this will be sanded down as well, so the torso will just flow smoother. And yeah, I mean, he's pretty bendy. Oh my god, I can't. Ugh. I'm sorry, seeing a mirror image is just, you know, not really. Yeah, he can go that way and this way, and you know, he's mobile, which I decided against putting any stops there, and I tested it when he was strung and it works. If for some reason it doesn't work in resin, I will quickly amend that and just put a little bit of a stop there, but it's not going to be a big change. There's going to be like 1 millimeter of resin sticking out on one side, and that will be enough. So now moving on downwards, doll nudity. Doll nudity, he's the only doll right now who has details down here, so avert your eyes. His details aren't very detailed though, so whatever. Oop, here he goes. So, and this is what he does right now. This is what the other boy's thighs will look like. These aren't even all that finished. There's a little bit of wonkiness here, which will be fixed, but overall, you see how the shape flows here instead of just being out there. So that's what I'm going to make the other joints as well. And other than that, he's just like them. He can, as long as he's not that loose, which he is, he can bend his leg up, and he can twist and swivel and do stuff like that. And the knees are the same knees. Go once, go twice. There we go. He can kneel. He can grab his knees. I'm gonna be showing that off when he's actually finished. So no point in taking up time now. So yeah, this is Endo. The body, headless body of Endo. Face included separately. And this is what he is like right now. Floppy and unfinished. And now we get to Vian, which again is going to be a struggle because almost 4 kilograms of dough. I mean, this is just, ugh. I'm barely able to pick him up. He flops around because he's A, loose, B, heavy. So it just, most things just don't happen with this doll right now. And his eye is wonky again because it's not sticking properly. Okay, so he's the most damaged right now because he's so heavy, and when these parts hit the ground at a pretty big speed, they don't survive it so well. His head will be modified, like the general head shape. I don't really like it so much. It's a little bit flat here and a little bit bumpy here. So we'll fix it. We'll fix it. Again, the upper bow doesn't move. The lower bow sort of moves. He can look up, and he can. I mean, if you look at the neck itself, it is bent forward right now. It will be bent. It will bend more, but it is bent forward. It's just the face not being able to face down anymore. That's not really working out. The hands, again, here is bumpy, and it's not really meeting up the way it should. Oh my goodness, and he goes flying. And the elbows are a little bit thin, so I'll be bulking up these parts and just making it all flow better. The chest is miraculously almost undamaged. There's just a little bit of crack here, but yeah, it's not so smooth. The back is almost done. It'll be a lot smoother, and it will just look better once it's smooth. And the front is not very detailed. I mean, not as much as I would like to. I lost a lot of detail. He just shed a piece of himself. This is clay. So where was I? Okay, I lost a lot of detail while smoothing him, and also just while making the torso joints. So yeah, he's pretty muscular, as you can see, and also pretty thin. So you see a lot of the muscle structure very well. like other people when you when they're muscular, they also put on some weight, not because they're fat, but because that's just how most bodies work. So the muscle structure gets obscured a little bit, but on Vian he can be an anatomy model, probably somewhere. So yeah, I still don't like the way his joints move. The lower joint is mostly okay. This one I don't like because it kind of, move the hand, kind of sticks out there. It's bumpy, and also moving backwards, not so nice. And this sideways movement is also kind of wonky right now. I will be fixing that. Then now there comes the worst joint in terms of damage. I mean, seriously. Oh my god. Seriously. All of this missing, all the edge. And that's because I wanted to save on epoxy and used the clay. But when you're adding little bits of clay, then it doesn't stick so well. So it would have held up, even to being strong, if it didn't go tumbling down to the floor a few days before. But as it is right now, it was damaged pretty badly. But it is working much better than the other joints. I mean, unless you go really crazy, it's kind of okay. It's definitely way less bumpy than the other joint, but I will be working on it. And then we get to the thighs, which are even worse aesthetically than Yoji's, because I didn't even make the parts meet here because I really needed to see him strong. His thighs were a little, I don't know, to me they looked bean shaped because they were thin here and thin here. So it was like not a tear shape, but thin on both sides. I didn't like that, obviously, so I put some volume on one side of the joint, and I didn't finish the other one until I decided, until I've seen it put together and working in the doll, and was able to decide whether it was enough or not yet. So I think it is enough. I like it. I like the thickness here. So I will build up this side to meet up. And again, he has the same joints here. Him and Endo have the big balls. That sounded bad. Big thigh joints. And his knees, as I said, are still a little bit thin here. So similarly to the elbows, I will be bulking that up. But yeah, wrong joint. 90 degrees and all the way up. I mean, for such thick parts, he's doing pretty well. But I may want to go like this far. Like this. There's just a little bit of difference. And there's the feet, which are the same for all the dolls. So yeah, I'll put him away now. Maybe I'll pick up his face. And of course, the eyes went even further in, and his eyes are so unfinished. They're just not even close to the shape of eyes, so you can see how horrible that looks. Like can you see this eye? It's like halfway inside his face. Horrible. So anyway, this has been what I've been working on, and yeah, I hope you like it. I hope it has been interesting to you in some way, especially if you plan to make your own dolls. Like, you know, just see what they look like unfinished, because I know a lot of people only share the finished product. And yeah, I hope that's been interesting. Again, the next tutorial will be coming soonish, and by soonish I mean, you know what, forget it. About 2 weeks from the vocabulary tutorial. Just count it yourself. It's probably not difficult, I'm just having trouble with it. So yeah, I will make an update when I finish their faces, and after that, the next time I do an update will probably when they're all finished and ready for casting. So yeah, if you're interested, details about them will be coming afterwards, but you probably want to see them finished first before you decide that you're interested. So thank you for watching. Keep watching and subscribing and sharing my videos. I'm not a YouTube partner or anything, so I am not getting any sort of compensation for this. So I just wanna get the knowledge out there and give you guys things I did not have and many other artists did not have, which was someone telling us how exactly to do a lot of things, and we had to work it out on our own. And I frankly, I don't think this should be the kind of information that's difficult to obtain. So I'm sharing, and if you're interested in seeing more tutorials, or if you're interested in getting some personal help with your doll projects, then please visit my Patreon campaign. But as I said, and as I keep saying, I love my patrons, and their contributions allow me to continue making those tutorials and to make more tutorials, because the list I have up on my Patreon page are things that will happen no matter what, and they will be available to everyone. But I have also a lot of things I would like to do, like specific material reviews, especially for resins and silicones, and really get into that and tell you which are the best, and yeah, stuff like that. And other things I would love to do, but they're kind of expensive. So if you're interested, and only if you are, then consider contributing. So yeah, thank you, and bye bye.